episode 2 of this new YouTube series. I'm hoping that you can hear me clearly, but we're going to delve into conventional deadlifts, sumo deadlifts, RDLs, aka Romanian deadlifts. We're going to hit the deadlifts today, and we're going to go through the stance of each deadlift, what each deadlift targets, what a deadlift's good for, how to set up the correct deadlift, etc. Some of you, most of you, have got deadlifts in your plan, whether it's conventional, sumo or RDLs. The majority of you have got, conventional or sumo. They're a fantastic compound movement that require many, many muscles to do their thing. It's a fantastic full body exercise. It's extremely functional, and I would give every man and their dog deadlifts if I could, because they're going to get used to picking things up off the floor. They're very functional and amazing. They're good for you. So that's why we do them. All right. So as you can see there, I've started with the bar on the safety bars. I've loaded the bar up with my warm-up weight on the safety bars. It just makes life 10 times easier. Depending on how heavy the bar is, especially if we do one-to-one sessions, you're going to see me lift the bar and put it on the safety rack and then get more plates on. It's just for ease. But if it gets to a point where we're hitting like 45, 50, 55 kg, I won't be doing that. I'll probably pull my back out. So I've loaded up the bar with my warm-up. I usually recommend a 5, but I've just put a 10 on today just for a bit of weight. And we're going to start off with our conventional deadlifts. So, difference between conventional and sumo, as most of you know. Conventional is shoulder width, sumo is anything wider than shoulder width, and then Romanian deadlift is obviously not going all the way to the floor. Deadlifts are a hinge, they are not a squat. They're not in the squat family, they're in the hinge family. That's really, really important when completing your deadlift. So, let's start off with our conventional deadlift. My feet are shoulder width apart. I'm going to approach the bar by bringing myself down. I'm going to keep my hips high. I'm going to roll that bar to my shins because I want that bar to be kissing my shins the whole time from start to finish. My hands are placed on the outside of my legs, and I'm going to bring my bum down, but my hips are still relatively high. Can you see here how high my hips are? I'm not coming down into a squat because a deadlift is not a squat. So, bar's nice and close, hips are coming down. One thing I'm also going to do is retract my lats. I want to think about bringing my shoulder blades back. I'm really engaging my lats there. I've also just turned my hand to go to a mixed grip. I just love a mixed grip. I think I get more control with a mixed grip, but I know some of you prefer a normal neutral grip, which is absolutely fine, each to their own. Absolutely no problem with either. So once my bum is down, my hips are high, my shoulders are back, and my lats are engaged, I'm going to push the floor away, driving all the way up, and stand nice and proud at the top. Chest is open, my shoulders are back. I'm not letting that bar control me. I'm controlling the bar. I'm keeping my shoulders back the whole time. From here, I'm hinging. That bar is coming down my legs. I'm knocking my hips back. The bar is approaching my knees, and this is when we start to bend. We're going to tap the floor, and we're exactly where we started when we first started that rep. So nothing's changing. We're just driving past the floor, driving up, hinging, bringing that bar down to your knees, bending them knees there, tapping the floor, and that bar has stayed nice and close to my legs the entire time. It's not strayed away. The minute that bar comes away from your legs, it's going straight to your lower back. So that's one thing that I really want you to focus on. Not that everybody already doesn't do deadlifts absolutely perfectly, but it's just something I want you to think about. One more time. So bringing that bar nice and close to my legs, bum down, hips high, lats are back, driving the floor away, standing up nice and proud, hinging at the hips, bending the knees, tap the floor, straight back up again. What I don't want to see is getting to here and then coming into a little prawn. That's going to be really damaging to your lower back as you start to add load. Okay, so there's your conventional deadlift. Moving on to sumos now. So a sumo stance is anything wider than shoulder width. This is also very individual, depending on your pelvic flexibility, mobility, the size of your legs. If you're a long-legged girly, you'll probably be out here. For me, that absolutely kills my hips and my groin. I can't do it. I feel nothing but pain. So I go for a narrower stance in terms of my sumos, so literally just outside my shoulders. But like I said, if you had longer legs, you're probably out here, and that probably feels great, but I literally can't even get past there. So I like to go a little bit narrower because I've got short legs, which is fine. We're all different, aren't we? So I'm going to set up for my sumo stance. My toes are going to be pointing out ever so slightly because I want my knees to drive out. Anything where you want your knees to drive out, your toes want to come out ever so slightly, okay? So setting up for my sumo stance. Another little difference here is my hands fall on the inside of my legs as opposed to the outside. So my hands are coming in the inside of my legs. Again, I've chosen a mixed grip, but you can do whatever. Bum down, hips high. My lats are back, shoulders are engaged, and we're driving up. Fully extending at the top. Hinge in, tapping the floor, driving up. Want to keep your chin tucked in as well with deadlifts. What I don't want to see is this. That's extremely uncomfortable. Keep your chin tucked in, lats back, hinge in, bend in, tap in, driving up. With your sumo, it's a lot more glute focused than your conventional, so you're going to feel it a lot more in your glutes than your quads. Just think about as well with your deadlifts is not to lose that brace in your core. So deadlifts are a fantastic core exercise. They really help you engage your core, which wraps around your entire front and back. And if you're somebody that tends to rush their exercises, you're not going to be able to brace that core properly. And what I mean by bracing is imagining someone's going to punch you in the stomach. So you want to take a nice big deep breath of air in. This is where you're going to be your tightest. This is where you're going to be your safest when it comes to lifting heavy weights, whether it's squats, bench, deadlifts. If you're full of air, you're going to be nice and safe there in the most vulnerable position. So when you've got that weight loaded up, let me just demonstrate with the sumo. So the hardest part of this exercise and the most vulnerable my core is going to be is when I lift this bar off the floor. So I'm going to make sure I take a nice big deep breath in, brace that core, drive up. From here, I'm going to release. Big breath in, we're going to go again, engage that core, hinge in, bend in, tap in, and driving up, exhale. Then we're going to go again, we're going to breathe in, really engage that core, bring it down, tap, drive up, and then exhale, okay? Brilliant. Right, we're going to move on to Romanians next. So notice how I've put the bar on the safety racks. That's just personal preference. You can definitely take the bar off the floor in a deadlift fashion, but I just prefer on the safety bars because it makes my life a bit easier. So again, your choice of grip. Hands want to be on the outside of your legs so your thumbs can touch about there. From here, you're going to take the bar off the rack or you're going to deadlift the bar up, whatever you prefer. From here, taking a nice big step back. Notice how already my shoulders are back. My lats are engaged. My core is nice and tight. I don't want to come out like this, letting that bar take the weight and pull me down. My shoulders are back. My core is engaged. My feet are shoulder width apart. From here, we're going to hinge at the hips. I want you to imagine you're going to close a car door. We've got nice soft knees. We're coming down the legs. We're getting to around mid-shin. And we're driving up with our glutes. That bar does not stray away from my legs. And I really use my glutes to drive up. I'm going to feel that pull in my hamstrings, and that's going to be the cue for me to drive back up, okay? Coming down, nice soft knees, driving up. Notice as well that when I come into a hinge, my knees do not pass my toes. My knees and my toes, or my knees and my ankles are in line. So what I don't want to see is this. You're coming into a deadlift or a squat here. So you want a nice soft knee, hinging at the hips. You're stopping about mid-shin, and then you're driving up. My hips and my ankles are in line here. That's how you do the perfect RDL. See how vertical my shins are there. Driving up. Again, keeping that chin tucked in. I don't want to see anyone like this. You can't see yourself doing an RDL, so keep your chin tucked in all the way down. Drive it up, okay? Again, however low you go is completely dependent on, again, your mobility and flexibility and how long or short your hamstring muscle is. So again, everybody's different. So try not to judge that off somebody else on Instagram. Just go as low and as far as you can based on your hamstring flexibility, strength and length. So I hope that was beneficial for you gals. I've gone through all 3 deadlifts there that you'll be using in your everyday or in your program. Everybody has got some sort of deadlift in there. So I really hope that does help. Some little cues there that you probably already knew, but just to go over. Yeah, I'll see you in episode 3.